Chairman, thank you for the first time that I know of we've had this joint meeting, and I would say that our witnesses and their testimony are among the most compelling of the many hearings that I've had with veteran issues and aging issues. So thank you. Thank you. I just want to comment, Mr. Skanga, that I share your view. President Biden's most recent budget submission is request $141 million for state home construction grant programs. The current list of projects that's in waiting totals $1.2 billion. So this request barely scratches the surface. And I now face this in my own state as we are waiting for new construction project in Northeast Kansas. And I just would highlight for the administration and for my colleagues, this not only delays the care for veterans, but puts the state, who is putting money into this project, in a difficult situation planning and financing the project. So, Mr. Skanga, I'm sure many of my colleagues will work to find further resources beyond the President's request for increases in funding of the state home construction grant program. So thank you for highlighting that.
Thank you.
Let me ask a couple of questions. Ms. Sawyer, I appreciate you working closely with me and Senator Sinema on the Veterans Caregiver Reeducation, Reemployment and Retirement Act. Tell me why you think, and tell my colleagues why you think it's important for us to consider this legislation and what impact it would have on caregivers' community.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate your involvement in creating that act. It is certainly something that has been a long time coming. Most post 9/11 caregivers are in situations where the income in their home is unearned. If their veteran was injured and medically retired, they may receive 100% permanent total VA pay and Social Security disability, as well as the PCAOC caregiver stipend. All of that income is unearned. That means caregivers cannot contribute to Social Security, nor can they contribute to any kind of retirement account. That leaves those caregivers in a very precarious financial state for when their caregiving years end and they reach retirement. The act, the Reeducation, Reemployment and Retirement Act that you and Senator Sinema introduced would study whether or not caregivers would be allowed to contribute to Social Security and their retirement accounts, whether there would be a mechanism that could be created for that to take place. It would also allow caregivers who had to leave caregiving either because their veteran passed or they became unable to caregive or their veteran recovered or their veteran had to go into a state home. It would give them $1,000 per caregiver to renew their employment certifications that they lost due to caregiving. And it would also offer them returnships, which already exist for older Americans within the Department of Labor. So if you've watched The Intern, the movie with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway, that's a returnship where Robert De Niro returns into the workplace. That would be the returnship program we're looking at caregivers. And so it basically, this bill actually creates a way to secure the financial security for caregivers in their later ages, because as of right now, there is no mechanism for them to be financially secure. Once their veteran passes away, they are looking at being financially destitute in their later years.
Ms. Sawyer, thank you for highlighting that. You're a more effective advocate than when I say those things, and I appreciate you putting this into the record for all of us to hear. Sure. Ms. Beck, please give my regards to Senator Dole. We have two senators that Kansans consider both of them Kansans, and both Senator Doles used their lives post-Senate career to make a difference in lots of people's lives, and particularly veterans. I'll be at the Eisenhower Presidential Library tomorrow as we take a look at celebrating, recognizing the importance of D-Day and those who served, and certainly Senator Bob Dole in his efforts to recognize World War II veterans on the National Mall and Senator Elizabeth Dole in her efforts to make sure that our veterans are cared for correctly and appropriately and fully is greatly appreciated in Kansas and across the country. One of the things that there's times that occur in which I just think, how can this happen? How can somebody's bringing me a problem from their veteran perspective, and your reaction is, this can't be true. What is going on here? And one of them is the dismissal of legacy participants in the Caregiver program. It's on pause. We're all pleased about that. But would you highlight, Ms. Beck, this position of being in no man's land, no person's land, in which no answers come and we just keep waiting?
Senator, thank you for that question. And I decided a long time ago that the first time I stopped saying, why is this happening, was the first time I shouldn't be doing this anymore. I think Hannah's story probably explains it best, of the emotional, financial uncertainty that has gone along with this program for that legacy cohort of caregivers. There are currently approximately 14,000 individuals who are considered as part of that legacy cohort, and that number is dwindling every day due to, unfortunately, deaths, sometimes improvement, sometimes divorce. And so that number is not extraordinarily high and going down. So the idea of offering grandfathering to that population of people would be to recognize that they have undergone so many different regulation changes. As Ms. Sawyer pointed out, that the program intent somehow shifted from seriously injured to severely injured, and there is a significant concern that a number of those legacy cohort who have been found eligible time and time again would then be removed from the program when the new regulations are issued. And so in recognition of that, and that was something that the Congress has repeatedly said it was not intended, then the idea of grandfathering that population and moving forward and allowing CSP to focus on actually supporting this population rather than the divided conversation of eligibility that has gone on for years would be in their best interest.
Thank you.